Hello, BookTube. I've got some new books to show you, but not all in the mail. I was walking the bean the other day, rejoicing in an event that's taken place in my life that I think is historic. I have been suffering for the last few weeks with the worst earworm in the world. I think probably caused somewhere down the line by the news of America's withdrawal from Afghanistan. If I don't know if that was the ultimate reason or not, but for some reason, for the last week, solid week, my earworm has been a song called "The Angry American" by a country music artist named Toby Keith. A deeply, deeply ugly song that was a hit. And it's been stuck in my head for a week when I don't want it to be there. Sometimes you're okay with your earworm. Other times you don't want it to be there and you don't seem to be able to do anything about it. And I finally thought, well, okay, can I remove that? Can I force it to change? Typically, I've thought that's not possible with earworms, but I tried it. And since it was country music that was causing me the pain, I thought country music should bring me pleasure as well. So I made an attempt, the first attempt in my life, to transplant an earworm. And it worked. Every time that my brain immediately went back to Angry American, courtesy of the red, white, and blue is the jingoistic line that you'll know it by. Every time that happened, I forced myself to start humming, or even if the circumstances were right, singing out loud 455 Rocket by Kathy Mattea. Every single time. She was made for the straightaways. She grew up hating Chevrolets. I made myself do that every time, and it turned out, after only a few times, 455 Rocket became my new earworm. So I now know that it is possible to transplant an earworm. I am no longer a victim. That's fantastic. Which technically means that maybe if I were ever get tired of 455 Rocket, which I don't see happening, technically it means I could transplant that too. I might give that a try just to see if it will work. So I was walking the bean and I was tra-la-laing because I was no longer under the cloud of a horrible earworm. And we came across a box of free books on the sidewalk. And I naturally looked. I should run from such books. I am drowning in books here. But I looked anyway. Ooh, what's this? So we both stopped and looked. And I found two books in the box that I want. The first one is prompted by Shake Timber, the BookTube event going on all September celebrating the works of William Shakespeare. I have all of Shakespeare on ebook, and I have multiple anthologies of Shakespeare. But I don't, at the moment, have also a whole collection of individual Shakespeare plays. I don't have that. For a long, long time, I had all the old Signet mass market Shakespeares that they're really, really good Shakespeare volumes, heavily footnoted on the page with lots of Norton Critical Edition style essays in the back. Those old Signet, you'll know them, they're white mass market paperbacks here in the United States. They were wonderful. And for a long time, I had those for every Shakespeare. And gradually got rid of them one way or another. They frittered away until finally I don't have any anymore. And I thought, well, the Brattle will provide. Those show up at the Brattle. You could get them all. And I thought, no, I don't. I know exactly what I want for an entire collection of individual Shakespeare plays. And those are Penguin black-spined trade paperbacks of each individual play. I have volumes, a couple of volumes here and there. Penguin makes an anthology of tragedies. I think they maybe even make an anthology of comedies. They definitely do an anthology of poems. I don't want that. For some copyright-related reason, you can't get just a shelf of black-spined Penguin Classic Shakespeare volumes individually. At least that I know of. You can't. I've never seen them. I've never seen them offered from a publisher. I've never seen them in a used bookstore. Not in this country. And that's what I want. If I'm going to have individual Shakespeare, I no way need individual Shakespeare volumes. I have anthologies that I love. I have ebooks. I in no way need them. But if I'm going to have that whole collection, that's what I want. This one is not that. This is the Royal Shakespeare Society, the Royal Shakespeare Company. But I liked it anyway, and it was free. It was just in a box, and it was going to rain. There were thick clouds in the sky. It could have rained. In which case, everything in the box would have been destroyed. I saved these things. So I got the Royal Shakespeare Company edition of Macbeth. The series edited by Jonathan Bate. I'm not sure how much he saw of this, but this has lots and lots of about the tech stuff at the beginning, and lots of footnotes for the plays themselves. So I grabbed it just to reread Macbeth for Shake-Timber. In this, it'll probably go back in the giveaway pile, but I grabbed it because it was gonna rain. And I also got this thing by Ray Kurzweil. This is The Age of Spiritual Machines, which is his follow-up to The Age of Intelligent Machines. And this was written for what, 1990? When was this written? 1999. This was written 20 years ago. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy this author's writing just in general. And this is about his prediction that by the end of the 21st century, humanity will be sharing the planet with another intelligent species. Another species as intelligent, capable of higher thought, higher imagination, planning, language innovation, culture innovation, all the kinds of things that are so far sequestered mostly to humans. And he predicts that those will be machines. Those will be intelligent machines. And in this book, he expands on the intelligent machines of the earlier book to talk about some of the further dimensions of those things. And it really gives him a chance to just teach you about things. Like the opening of this book is not about machine intelligence. It's about early cosmology, how the universe actually began. The heat birth of the universe, what it was like in the first 10 squillionths of a second. And it moves on from there to large chunks of it are on the nature of technological improvement. How does technology improve? Because he's going on to I want to say Godwin's law, but it's not Godwin's law. What's the other law? Oh God, now I'm not going to remember. Isn't that terrible? Well, I'll just page to it. There's a law that transistor density doubles over a certain amount of time. I'll never find it now. That I want it, I'll never find it. But it's not Godwin's law, right? That's not the law I'm thinking of. You'll get to it. You'll say it right away. Why can't I find it? Why? Yes, okay. I'm at the part where he's talking about increased technological complexity. Which ought to be exactly the point where he's talking about the law that I'm talking about. Well, you know what I mean anyway, that these things are going to double with time. Moore's law. It's not Godwin's law. It's Moore's law. Gordon Moore. Moore claims that his 1975 update was 24 months, and that does appear to be a better fit to the data. So he said originally that the surface area of a transistor, as etched on an integrated circuit, was being reduced by approximately 50% every 12 months. And that would just continue up to the point of quantum limitations. That's the whole energy behind quantum computing, is that it gets away from Moore's law. It's the only escape hatch from Moore's law. Eventually, you run out of physical capability to do that kind of increase at all, much less 50%. And Kurzweil spends a lot of this book talking about stuff like that. And I remember really liking it, this Penguin trade paperback. I don't have The Age of Intelligent Machines. And I don't have a copy of his great book, The Singularity is Near. I don't have either one of those. But I have this now. I love this author. So it was free in a box. And did I mention that it was going to hail? It was going to hail. These books would have been destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. So I had to save them. I mean, what would you have done? But in addition to those things, those are 2 new books to add to the library. I haven't completely finished with The Age of Intelligent Machines. I went to the beginning chapters of this book and reread them, but I want to reread the whole thing today. But we also have a little mail. We have one package of mail. I bet there's more mail coming, too. This thing was out on the stoop mighty early. So it was probably somebody doing a spot check at storage compartments that just happened to have something for me. Probably the actual mail deliveries will happen later today. Oh, great. Okay. All right, great. This is by Mick Herron, who I love. I love these books. This comes out on August 31st of this year, so I missed it. It's a trade paperback of Dolphin Junction by Mick Herron. The first collection of short stories by the award-winning novelist Mick Herron. This book demonstrates that he is a master of the short form, too. Mick Herron is certainly having a moment The star-studded adaptation of his Slow House novels featuring Gary Oldman, Kristen Scott Thomas, Jonathan Pryce, Olivia Cooke, and Jack Lowden, among others, is gearing up for 2022 release on Apple TV. And the literary acclaim for the espionage series is only growing. In 10 years, Mick Herron has gone from the frustrating status of, quote, best-kept secret to spy fiction's most award-winning author. And for what it's worth, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. That is worth precisely nothing, but it's nice to hear. Mick Herron's career has been defined by quality and consistency. Whether you're reading his earlier novels, the Oxford Mystery Series starring bumbling PI and his much more perspicacious significant other, set in the author's famous hometown, or one of his gritty, twisty, standalone novels like Nobody Walks, or This Is What Happened, you can be sure that the read is going to be engrossing and the prose delightful. I've actually found that to be true about this author. Never read anything by him that I didn't like. This is a career-spanning collection of stories, loosely framed around 4 Oxford mysteries. The collection also includes a Jackson Lamb story set in the cloak and dagger realm of Slow House, and a run of delightful standalones, some of which are outright chilling. Included here, too, is Mr. Herron's The Usual Santas, which became the title for Soho Crime's holiday short story collection and was published in adapted form by the Wall Street Journal in Santa number 9 in print for the holiday season. Okay, so this is a collection of short fiction by Mick Herron. Fantastic. It's a little late getting to me. I think it's going to be a trade paperback original. Yeah, it's going to be a $17 trade paperback original. Going to be. It is already. This will be in your bookstores. And those of you who really like this author, this will be something else that you really want from him. I really do. Great. So this is a little bit late getting to me, but I haven't read it. So fantastic. So we have Dolphin Junction, a collection of short stories by Mick Herron. And then we have The Age of Spiritual Machines by Ray Kurzweil. Strongly recommend it. Going to enjoy rereading it again. The reason I pointed out initially the year of its publication date is because so much has changed since he made this. Is a book in large part full of predictions about what technology will do in the near future. Well, it's done a lot of those things, and I don't remember a lot of those predictions so specifically. It'll be interesting to read this in light of the last 20 years. And finally, the Scottish play. We have Macbeth, the Royal Shakespeare Company's paperback, that I found because otherwise a volcano was going to destroy it. I had no choice but to take it in, even though I absolutely do not need another copy of Macbeth. So there. Those are new-ish books for this Tuesday, with more mail to come. So if it does, you'll be the first to know. I'll see you then. Thank you, BookTube.